Hi, I'm Rory Greener from XR Today, and we have Alberto Carlier, VIROO's product marketing manager at Virtualware, joining me today. He's going to talk about the latest 2.6 version of VIROO, an enterprise-facing XR solution. Alberto, might you kick us off by introducing Virtualware, specifically the VIROO platform, and it's described as an XR as a service solution. Um, what does that mean for potential buyers? What value does that bring to businesses, etc.? So why don't you kick us off, introduce VIROO, and introduce that definition for us?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for having me, and hello to everyone. Basically, here at Virtualware, we are a VR Spanish company. We've been developing VR for the past 2 decades, and now with the arrival of mixed reality, we change the focus and we incorporate mixed reality to our solution. So we are now an XR company, and basically, we've been creating tailor-made solutions for a client for the past years. But a couple years ago, we decided that the industry needed like a solution for allowing companies to create their own content or integrating more rapidly XR into the whole value chain of each enterprise. So basically, what we mean with XR as a service is like we've developed a platform which is called VIROO that is going to allow companies to integrate XR across all their work processes. So before, with the version 2.5 and others, we have the ability to allow customers to create their own custom content without having to code at all if you are not an expert programmer. But with version 2.6, we introduce some radical changes because now we allow clients to export the entire applications and even consume the ones that are already developed. So we have like a marketplace of apps. So even if you don't know how to create or you don't want to invest content creating applications for you, you can use the ones that are already developed. So that way you can integrate XR in your company way faster than before.
Fantastic. And there's a few pieces there we're going to explore. But just as a side note, could you perhaps explain how that also helps with either cross-platform deployment or perhaps considerations for different types of hardware, AR, VR, MR, etc.?
Yeah, exactly. We are really fans of XR, and I love VR headsets, but we know that not many people have them, and we are still growing maybe a little slower than we want. So VIROO allows for multi-device compatibility. So no matter what kind of mainstream headset you have a MetaQuest, you have a Pico, HTC, or even if you don't own a headset, if you want to join or create sessions just using your keyboard and mouse in your laptop, you can. So basically, that's one of the main things that VIROO is going to solve. Even if you are an advanced programmer and you know how to use Unity, you know how hard it is to create a multi-user, multi-device environment. So basically, when you are creating with VIROO, you can focus on put all your creativity in the application itself and forget about all the complexity of the networking. So again, we even have compatibility with large-scale immersive rooms, as we call it. We use the HTC LBE solution, but we are even compatible with systems like Cave projections that are from the past, but many companies still use them and have them, and we have compatibility. So basically, no matter which device you have, you can join multi-user sessions across the globe, connecting people to do remote collaboration with your whole team, depending what kind of process you want to see in the virtual environment.
Fantastic. And just before we move on to our next major points, how is that also helping with XR adoption still in its early years in terms of enterprise or at least broad usage, maybe outside of experimentation and prototyping, etc. So you mentioned some of the streamlining elements there. How is VIROO and again the XR AAS platform definition helping those early adopters today?
Yeah, exactly. The good thing about VIROO is that you can start really fast, but scale as much as you want. So basically, maybe you have some work processes inside your company that you are not sure if you are going to take advantage of the XR, because XR is great, but not always it's useful in many cases. So you can start just from scratch, be applying VIROO in some small processes, and then start scaling as much as you want. And again, if you don't have a headset, you can use your regular laptop, but see the benefit of connecting people across the globe to see digital twins, replicate simulations of work processes, and allowing to reduce the cost of many processes inside your company. But when you are ready to make a big jump, you can acquire a large-scale immersive room. You can use even the latest MR headsets to use mixed reality and not always be inside a virtual space. So if you are in the same room with many others, you can use the latest HTC Vive Focus Vision to see the people around you and just filter the virtual elements that you want to have a good experience. So basically, again, it's so easy to jump in VIROO. You just acquire the licenses. You start using them from the most compatible devices you may have. And if you want and you see the value of it, you can start scaling, buying headsets, buying large-scale immersive room, and connecting all across the globe.
Fantastic. I want to chat about the app collection and perhaps use cases, but let's talk about the 2.6 update a little bit more thoroughly. So perhaps just introduce us to 2.6 or VIROO 2.6. What new features are coming along with that update?
Yeah, of course, there are many features that are maybe not perceptible for the users regarding security, regarding how everything works and the stability of the system itself that are always important. But from the end user, the one thing that probably they are going to notice the most is the one that I mentioned before, the ability to publish entire applications that are compatible with VIROO. Because in the past, if you are a Unity developer, what we've done is whenever you create content for VIROO and you export it to a compatible format, the only thing that we were doing is just to export a Unity asset bundle that there was then going to be loaded inside the single player application, which is the VIROO application that allows you to create the sessions. That has some restrictions because you wouldn't be able to use third-party assets or packages that depend on external libraries. So you could even change the render pipeline of Unity. So you were a little bit restrained. So if you were used to use Unity, once you start working with VIROO, you see some limitations that may not suit your work process. So basically with version 2.6, now what you are exporting is a full application that is still compatible with VIROO. It's still solving all the complexity for you, but you can use whatever render pipeline you want, import any third-party asset that you want, and it's going to work just fine. All the actions and interactions are going to replicate in all the users, but now you can have much more freedom in order to create the content. And again, if you don't want to spend that time or you don't know how to, you can browse all the list, the applications that we have developed, because we have found through the years some specific needs that many of our clients have, because they basically, in the industry, many of them do the same work processes, and we have developed some applications like Design Review that allows clients to just load 3D models, see them at full scale, grabbing parts, making annotations, taking measures of it. And we have a list of applications that we are developing, and it's going to be increasing in the time, that we think are going to be really helpful for our clients. And that's the good thing about VIROO, and that's why we call it at XR as a service, because it's improving every day. With its version, basically the state that VIROO is right now is the worst that a client could have, because it's going to be improving in the upcoming months, and it's going to be getting just better and better.
Fantastic. And there's a couple of pieces there I wanted to explore, but let's jump into the VIROO app collection. I was going to ask you about this last, but I feel like the conversation's going there already. You've already described what that is. You've already introduced it. But could you perhaps tell us a little bit more of those commonplace XR use cases that you are developing this app collection around? Perhaps give us an idea of how many applications there are within that too. And I also imagine you're building that collection of apps based on an industry demand as well. So give us a little bit of an intro into there and those commonplace use cases.
Yes, exactly. Again, I already introduced one of them, which is Design Review. But we are developing many more applications that are going to be upcoming, or ready in the upcoming months. So we have applications for the healthcare, even for anatomy. So students from universities can see a full-scale human body and see all the organs, all the different parts, learn about them, show videos, move them, and interact with many people connected around the globe. We have even clinical cases that you have a patient in her bed and you need to understand what is the patient demanding to you, how you need to apply the medicine and solve that clinic case. That is always improving, and we are adding more clinic cases in the future. We have even civil work simulator you can start like creating buildings and see how different structures can be more optimized to that building itself and what kind of considerations you have to take into account so the building is correctly transformed and implanted in the work. We have even lessons for cooking school. So you are in the kitchen, you are surrounded by all the materials that you need in order to cook a dish, and you need to follow the instructions. Again, this is like content really useful for students in university, and that's why we create this kind of content. We have Simumatic VR. This is one of the greatest things that we've done. The Simumatic is an application that was already launched in the market, and what they done is they connect to real PLCs to show a real digital twin inside the application. So basically, the only thing that they've done is just to show the 3D model of the digital twin, but with integration with VIROO, we allow that digital twin to be seen with in VR, in an XR environment, and again, connecting people all around the globe. So again, even if you already have an application developed, we can see if there is a possibility to integrate that to VIROO. So imagine that you have a single or a standalone application that is only for one user, and you want to have that benefit of the multi-user environment. You can probably integrate with VIROO to solve that for you. More applications that we have for the infrastructure of trains in the railways in Spain that we are working with really high enterprise here in our country. We have even EcoFarm, which is a hydroponic gardening VR simulator. So again, we have now like 10 to 15 applications in development. Most of them are already developed, and the rest are going to be available by the end of the year. But we are even thinking about many more use cases for the upcoming year, and we are really excited about that. Yeah.
Fantastic. And just to wrap up, let's do a couple of points and some more technical aspects. You did mention it might not be end user facing so much, but they're still very important considerations, really. And I'd like to start it off with product lifecycle management. I feel like it's fair to say with VIROO, you're going to be able to get a fairly bespoke approach to an individual's or a business's product lifecycle management for an XR service, whether they just want to quickly adopt something from the app collection or if they want to develop it from the ground up. Perhaps describe to us what that looks like on the VIROO platform and how you're helping to optimize an end user's PLM period.
Exactly. One of the things that we like, this is inherent to the XR itself, is that it can be applied to many different work processes and all across the value chain of a company. So we always say that maybe we are talking with a client that needs a specific solution for a training process because he needs to train people around the globe. But when you start using VIROO, you see that it can be applied to many work processes inside your company. So it can be applied for the design review process, when you are prototyping, when you are developing anything inside your environment. You can manufacture things in VR. Of course, you can train people. That's one of the most things that we've done. And you can even use it for promotion value. So imagine that you are a company that you are manufacturing a product. So all across, you are designing it, you are prototyping, you are manufacturing, and then you want to sell it to your clients. So no better way to sell a product is to join with your clients in a virtual environment, see it at full scale, and have all the ability to launch animation, sounds. So VIROO, as every XR application, can be applied to those elements across all your value chain. So you can start even maybe with the design and prototyping team, but in the next months, they can be applied and getting use of the VIROO value across all the different departments inside your company.
Fantastic. And talking about all those different departments, let's finish it off by talking about security, privacy standards, data, etc. XR in a business is going to hit various different use cases, various different companies and different divisions, teams within a company. Why is it important for VIROO to comply with those commonplace security and privacy standards? And perhaps why is it important to promote that compliance to businesses today? Because I imagine there's a lot of concerns when it comes to XR adoption, perhaps from a decision maker's point of view.
Yes, exactly. It's not the same using XR in the consumer market that in the industry market. We always focus here at Virtualware in the business sector. So we have highly demand clients that need to fulfill very restricted compliance regarding the 3D models that they own, because we even have work in the nuclear sector and the military sector. They manage 3D models that are not be able to show to the public. So whenever you create a session, all that content needs to be deployed and storage in a very secure place. So Virtualware has the ISO 27001 compliance. So that means that all of the work processes inside on our company feel that highly security demands. But even VIROO itself, which is a cloud-based platform, and it needs to connect people across the globe. We use the Amazon Web Services or the Azure services depending on the needs of the client. And if the client really doesn't want to be connected to the internet, we can even deploy on premises in the installations of the own client using just their servers, and no element is going to be connected to the internet. So it even works that way. That's one of the main things that we even improve in version 2.6.
Fantastic. Thank you for all that information. There's so much to gather there and so much to learn. It sounds like from what you're saying, there's a broad adoption of this software already. So it's going to be onwards and upwards. And for our readers who want to learn more, not just about VIROO, but perhaps where that success is happening, what's the best place? Where's the best place for them to look? A website, social media, etc.?
You can go just to our website. It's virtualwarecode.com/VIROO. And one of the good thing is that if you want to start developing to VIROO, you can download VIROO Studio for free. If you want later to create virtual sessions, you need to acquire a license. But if you want just to be starting working with VIROO Studio in Unity, it's for free, available for everyone. So you can download it, start creating, and see the value that it incorporates if you are even an advanced developer. All the complexity that you don't have to worry about.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you so much for your time today, Alberto. I really appreciate it. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Great. And for our XR Today viewers, if you want to get more XR news, subscribe to our social channels and follow the website. Thank you very much for watching.